Welcome everyone to my channel, that is Fast and Easy Maths, which is dedicated to give you tips and tricks related to mathematics. So students, today we are going to do partial fractions for integration chapter in this particular crash course video. Okay, but students, I would like to tell all of you all that in all of my videos I have solved tricky sums with each and every topic related to that particular video. Okay, so even in today's video, at the end I'm going to solve a question which looks very difficult and which is quite expected in your boards, but it is actually, you can actually use this particular method and solve that entire question very easily. Okay, so first let's understand what is partial fractions. And students, after I write all of these partial fractions method, I would like all of you to take a pause and take screenshots of all these methods, because after that it will be very easy when you are revising for your final exam. Okay, so now if you have px plus q upon something like x minus a and x minus b, or x plus b, let's say that. So we have to, you can write this entire fraction as nothing but a upon x minus a plus b upon x minus b. Okay, this is the first one. The next one can be of the form px plus q, okay, x minus a the whole square and x plus b. Okay, so here students, you will have a, b and c. Now why like that? Because when you have x minus a, we will have x minus a to the power of 1. We will always start with the power of 1. Then we will have x minus a to the power of 2, and that is the maximum power given in the question. So here we will have x plus b. So now students, if you had x minus a raised to 3, then here you would have x minus a raised to 3, and then you would have another letter which is d upon x plus b. Okay, I hope you got the point. Okay, whenever you have something like this in a power, you start with the power of 1 and then go up to the maximum power which is given in your question. Okay, now see, there are a lot of other types also in partial fraction, but these are the main things which you need to remember. I'm just going to show you 3 and that's good enough for it. Okay, and obviously students, if you like the way I'm explaining, then please go ahead and hit the like button, because that really gives me a lot of energy in doing these kind of videos. Now coming to the last one, if you have something like this, px square plus minus qx plus minus r upon x minus a and the whole multiplied by ax square plus minus bx plus minus c is equals to, then this will be written as a upon x minus a, and the next one is quite interesting. It will be bx plus c upon ax square plus minus bx plus minus c. Now why like that? Okay, because this can be only done when the quadratic in the denominator, so ax square plus minus bx plus minus c is not factorizable. Only then you have to use this. Okay, otherwise you just factorize it and use any of the methods given. Okay, so students, the variation in this is nothing but if you had over here x minus a, x plus b, and another bracket stating x minus c or x plus c. So here you would have to add another variable which is plus c upon x minus c, or whatever that other bracket was stating. Okay, so but these 3 are the major things which you need to remember for your exam. So do go ahead, take a pause and take a screenshot of this particular formulas. Okay, now like I said, we are going to solve a question which looks really difficult, but which can be solved very nicely with the help of this method. So we have x raised to n plus 1 the whole multiplied by x. Now in this case, what you can do is, please understand, when you have something like this x raised to n plus 1, you cannot do any of these methods. Okay, you can only do when the degree of x is linear, okay, or maximum it is a quadratic. Okay, but since it is not like that, so what are we going to do is, we will use substitution method. So let x raised to n is equals to t. So then differentiating with respect to x, we get n x raised to n minus 1 dx is equals to dt. Right? Now students, here if you look, your dx should cover some part of your question, that is your ideal scenario. So let's divide both the sides by x. Okay, so when you do that, or rather instead of dividing, let's multiply and divide this particular side, your right hand side, by x. So we get n into x raised to n minus 1 into x will get you just x raised to n dx is equals to dt, but it's still at the same time it is divided by x as well, right? So now I can write 1 upon x dx is equals to dt upon n into x raised to n. Now the problem is, with dt I do not want anything with related to x, and we know that x raised to n is nothing but t. So I can write 1 upon x dx is equals to dt upon n into t. Into t. Okay, so let's write our question in terms of t. I have 1 upon n will be taken outside, so dt upon t. Okay, and we have is x raised to n, which is again t plus 1. Right? Now here can I say that this is pretty much a part of a partial fraction, so I can write 1 upon t into t plus 1 as nothing but a upon t plus b upon t plus 1. Now taking LCM on both the sides, I have 1 upon t to t plus 1 is equals to a into t plus 1 plus b into t upon t into t plus 1. Now since the denominators are same, I can directly cancel it out. So now let's just write this as nothing but 1 is equals to, open the bracket, so a into t is a t plus a into 1 is a plus b into t. Now comparing the coefficients, I can say a is equals to 1 and a plus b is equals to 0, because there is no value of t on this side of the equation. So now if a is 1, therefore I can say b is equals to minus 1. So now my question changes to 1 upon t minus 1 upon t plus 1 dt, and 1 upon n was there. So my final answer would now be 1 upon n log mod t minus log mod t plus 1 plus c. Now log of a minus log of b can be written as 1 upon n log of t upon t plus 1 plus c. But as we know, we do not leave our answers in terms of t, so we will resubstitute value of t, which is x raised to n upon x raised to n plus 1 plus c. Right? So students, you saw this complicated looking sum can actually be solved with the help of partial fractions. Okay, so that's it for now. I will very soon see you in the next video. So let's just have a quick look about what all we have finished. So we have finished standard, we have finished properties, we have finished formulas, we have finished partial fraction, and now we are just supposed to do u into v. Okay, so very soon we are going to do that as well. So that's it for now. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.